not a good defender. So when I called Messi an international flop, then came the excuses. Oh my gosh, the players are not that good. Look how rubbish the players are. It's the manager's fault. Oh, how come Hazard doesn't get afforded those same excuses? Because it's one thing to lose, it's another thing to get baptized. It was a baptism. That's what it was. There's no other way to say it. There are no 3 or 4 ways around it. Chelsea got baptized by Bournemouth. And there are many things that I want to say here. Some things will seem similar, but again, I just want to pretty much get this out because again, I have no time for people who talk crap and who don't know what they're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. So if you don't want to listen, that's your issue. But I'm going to keep drumming into the moronic heads of some people who just don't want to listen. But before I do that, Eddie Howe, Bournemouth, congratulations. King, Brooks, all those boys. I said in my preview, this Bournemouth are a good side. This is a real good side. I mean, apart from the top 6, the sides who I look at and I'm like, these guys, forget about mathematics. Wolves, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace. These are 3 sides who, when they're at full strength, they're always very good. So they may lose games, and they may not look good, but those are guys that I'm very impressed with how they play, and they're very dangerous teams to play. And Bournemouth is a team that is dangerous to play, that even if you beat them, you have to retry and beat them because they have a tactic that just works really well. Because they've seen that when they break really well, and they've just got very specific players with very specific characteristics that work well with the way that Howe wants them to break and utilize and move when they have possession of the ball. So Bournemouth, they executed. They delivered. They did what had to be done. And when it came down to it, they got it done. I mean, Chelsea didn't register a single G in this game. And they both had the same shot on target. They both had 7 shots on target. One team put 4 in. Another team got 0 in. So for Bournemouth, 100%. They fully deserve it, and this is it. This is easily the greatest ever victory. 4-0 against Chelsea, a former Premier League champion. It's huge. Let's rewind to Sarri calling out the players and saying that this team simply doesn't have the wherewithal or the character that he needs. Pretty much calling them out. If you're a manager without any trophies to your name, that's wild. A manager can do anything he wants, but if an Ancelotti or your Pankers calls me out, man. All right, you're Pankers. You're Ancelotti. Alright. If you're Sarri, you've not won any trophy. You are a very good tactician, and you've come up with a very graceful and very interesting footballing philosophy that when it works, it's really great to look at. You've won no trophies. You're not an elite manager. You're not someone who is respected because you've not been successful with regards to winning a trophy. So when you call out the players, it's a bit wild. So I'm saying, just a bit wild. So when you look at this, there are 2 ways, and there are only 2 things two possible deductions. And when you have the two possible deductions, you could choose one. Either the players are down in tools, don't get Sarri sacked, they're not really putting in an effort. Or it's a case of where Sarri is being far too rigid, far too stubborn, and his system pretty much just needs a bit of reorganization. The reason why I'd go with the latter is not because I want to defend the players and I always defend the players. No, because there are players who I am going to attack. The reason why I go for the latter is these issues have already been seen. These issues have already been exposed. So the players were to blame for the loss to Wolves. So the players were to blame for all the other losses that Chelsea have had this season. The players were to blame for all of them. Were they? Because, again, for Sarri, the Jorginho Kante thing is something you're going to have to address. There is a problem. There is a problem where Kante is a higher scoring midfielder when this guy is known to be a DM. There's something wrong there where a guy who has played DM for most of his career and is the best DM in the world, the first time ever he's now playing as a free-roaming, much more attacking midfield in his first season, and he's the highest scoring in his first season. There's a problem there. It's not a thing of commending Kante, because I will still commend him. It's commendable, but that's a problem. That's an issue. Higuain. The Higuain that scored 36 goals for Napoli is no more. That Higuain is gone. He'll may give you one great game, two great games here and there. Higuain is no longer an elite striker. It's very different when you're playing in a Juventus team in the Serie A compared to playing with a Chelsea team that needs work in the Premier League. Those are two very different scenarios. The same Higuain who was a flipping brick at the World Cup for Argentina. So it's Higuain. Higuain is an improvement. He is an improvement on Giroud and Morata. But Higuain is not an elite striker. He's not a top-tier striker. He ain't no Drogba. He ain't no Drogba. So, and remember, and this is what I said before, the Premier League, this is the most competitive league in the world. So, it's going to be hard for him to really readjust. Jorginho. Maybe he worked in a slower, more tactical league in this area. But in a faster league that is more physical, much more intensive, you need a DM who knows how to be a DM. Because I always say for Jorginho, what do you bring to this team? You're not a great DM. You can't run. Your interception game isn't on point. You're not creating any chances. You're not scoring any goals. You're not making any incisive passes. Oh, you keep the ball. So what is your the role? Because the thing that just worries me that, so sorry, are you playing Jorginho in the DM role as this register because he keeps the ball? No, he's in a position in which he needs to defend. He's in a position in which his reading of the game has to be on point. Because as good as Busquets is as keeping the ball, he's one of the nicest on the ball. He reads the game very well. And he understands his role as being a DM for Barcelona. And his reading of the game has to be at such a high level because he can't run. But because he can't run, similar with the Jorginho, he knows that his reading of the game has to be very high. Jorginho's reading of the game ain't that great. He doesn't sniff out threats in the same way that Busquets or Kante does. So I say to Sarri, how are you putting a guy in the DM role, the position just in front of a defense that ain't great, when he can't be good defensively? That doesn't make any logical sense. But you've got a guy who's the best at that role. Because the thing about this is that for Sarri, you don't have the luxury of, let me just worry about what we do, and if with what we do is the best of our abilities, we will beat any team. You don't have that luxury. You had to look at a Bournemouth and be like, this team are playing at their home stadium. They're very good on the counter-attack. players like Josh King is very dangerous as the spearhead of of the attack. So we have to really be defensively on our game. David Luiz. Can we come to the same conclusion now? I'm just wondering, can we now finally come to the same conclusion, or David Luiz is a very talented football player. He's a very talented football player. He's not a good defender. And he never has been. He was at fault for both of those goals. For the second goal, who tackles like that? Who makes a tackle like that? Like both legs. Who makes a tackle like that? Like, it's so irresponsible and so rash and so senseless. It's like, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And for the third goal, you have to read that pass better. Because people will look like, oh, no, Rudiger was in a very difficult situation because once that pass came through to do it was very hard for him to defend him. That had to be snuffed out. Because Luis had to read that pass coming through and the run being made and snuff that pass out. But when he did snuff that pass out, boom, it was lights out. Because again, Rudiger, he's suffering as well. You know, he's not playing well. But for David Luiz, who's supposedly the more experienced defender, and people keep selling me on the idea that, why is this David Luiz? He's not a good defender. So you have a situation where this is a physical league, a fast league, a league in which anybody can beat anybody. Look at how Liverpool struggled against. Let's look how City lost against Newcastle. You cannot sleep. You cannot sleep in this league. Because everybody is coming out to get you, because it is very fast, very intense, very physical, and if you're not on point, you will lose. You will lose. I didn't know you could get baptized, though. And now for what people want. For me to throw Hazard under the bus, call him a loser, induct him, he ain't that great. Hazard needs to take some blame because Hazard, you can't be on the pitch and get baptized. That's bad. That's bad. That does not look very good on your resume. So, for Hazard, I'm sorry, that's not a good look. Because you lost 4-0 and you're on the pitch. But I want us to go deeper and use your brains. How is Hazard to blame? There's also so many opportunities. How is Hazard to blame? So this now adds to the narrative. Oh no, Hazard is just a purple patch player and everything. Guys, use your brains. Look at who Hazard is playing with. I tell you right now, if Hazard has Pogba, Martial, Cavani, so forth around him, and he's not on point, okay, fair enough. Boom. He deserves to be slated and brought down. You know, Martial has Pogba around him. He's got Rashford around him. You know, Man City, you've got Aguero, you've got Sané, you've got Sterling. You know, there are teams where you've got international world-class caliber players. Higuain is no longer a top-tier striker. Pedro has not been relevant in 5, 6, 7 years. Willian is very inconsistent. These aren't great players. These aren't top quality players. So, and in football, isn't a case of where one guy can just do everything and make it happen. And do you know what really annoys me? Is how people pick and choose. So you're going to insult Hazard. Then why was everybody getting on me when I was insulting Messi? So when I called Messi an international flop, then came the excuses. Oh my gosh, the players are not that good. Look how rubbish the players are. It's the manager's fault. Oh, how come Hazard doesn't get afforded those same excuses? And from Cristiano, like, oh my gosh, it's Portugal. What can Portugal do? Portugal have only won the Euros. They never won the World Cup before. And one man can't do everything. Oh, so it's cool for Cristiano and Messi to have those excuses, but not for Hazard. And the reason why I'm so hard on Cristiano and Messi is because you told me they're the GOATs. I never said Hazard is the GOAT. But people are telling me that Cristiano and Messi are the greatest of all time. If they're the greatest of all time, oh my gosh, I'm going to be very harsh on them. I'm going to be extra harsh on them. If you're the GOAT, I'm going to be extra harsh on you. I've never called Zidane the GOAT. I've called him a world-class talent. And this guy, along with Kante, are far too good for this team. Kante and Hazard are far too good for this team. It is too unbalanced. The gap in quality between Kante and Hazard is too much. It's too much. And then there's the Callum Hudson-Odoi thing. I just want it to be confirmed. Was he not in the squad because he was injured? Or was he not in the squad based on what I was reading in that he was not in the squad based on him handing in a transfer request? So this was punishment. Because Chelsea could have used with Hudson. We could have really used Hudson-Odoi in there. Because Hudson-Odoi is a very different kind of player to Pedro and Willian. Because Hudson-Odoi is much more incisive, much more penetrative, and much more forward-moving than both Willian and Pedro. So there are issues here. But I just think people just have to be realistic about things, because I can't be stupid. I'm not a thickhead. If you want me to be stupid, I'm like, 4-0 to Bournemouth. Hazard, this is so bad. Purple patch. Oh, Chelsea are downing tools. So because Chelsea lost to Bournemouth and Sarri called out the team, they've now given up and they're now downing tools. If they are downing tools, why would they have 7 shots on target? Why would they have that much possession? Why would they have those chances? If you're really down in tools, you'll be trash and you would hardly play and you get completely overrun. Team could have done better, finishing their chances, Kante and so forth. Hazard could have maybe created a lot more or done more. But overall, there are issues within the team. Does this system really work? Is Sarri being too rigid with this system? Because the key thing about management is this. You see, for someone like a Pep Guardiola, he's lucky because he has the luxury of having the best of the best in his team. So his philosophy of like, as long as we do what we do to the best of our abilities, we'll win, makes sense. Because when your team is so good and your team are so good technically, you have the luxury of like, who cares what the opponent does? As long as we do what we do to the best of our ability, we will win. Sorry, you don't have the luxury. You actually have to do some management. You actually have to do some study on the opposition. You do have to have a bit of changes where, okay, you know what, maybe I'd have Kante in the DM in this right now. Maybe I'd have a Higa and a Giroud, or maybe what we can do with 2 strikers, Giroud and Higa in there. Maybe I'll put Hazard as a number 10 in behind the 2 strikers. You don't have the luxury of just sticking to a team, sticking to a statistic in every single game because the players are just not that good. Obviously, there has to be a general system, but more tweaks need to be made based on the opposition that you're playing. But look, man, this is a heavy loss. And from what I've been hearing, apparently Sarri chastised and berated the team in the locker room and everything like that. So it's the solution isn't to sack Sarri. Sack him and then what? And then what? Because see, for Hudson, if I'm Hudson-Odoi, take a flight to flipping Germany and just, bro, do you? Okay, Chelsea is an institution. Okay, do you? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to support an institution over a young black man. Sorry, I know that may hurt a few people. I am not going to support an institution over a young black man who has the opportunity to play for flipping Bayern Munich. I ain't going to begrudge a young black man trying to ride. Nah, I ain't doing it, bro. I'm not going to do it, But this is a very interesting situation that Chelsea find themselves in, because sacking Sarri that's not an option. That's not an option. A new manager coming in is not going to change things. So you see that is the issue, the players, the issue. For me, it's Sarri is the right man. There is success within Sarri. He just needs to be a bit more malleable and a bit more open with his tactics and his strategy. Simple as that. Just needs to be a bit more open with the strategy that he has. But I do think that if Higuain doesn't click, that's a big problem. I think a huge issue is Chelsea having a striker that works well with the system. Because if they don't have that, that's a serious problem. It's a serious problem because, look, you're not going to win all of the games. And yes, Chelsea should be beating a Bournemouth. But a baptism is worrying. Because it's one thing to lose, it's another thing to get baptized. I mean, that's just that's now a stat in history. That's now a stat in history. So it's going to be a wild league, man. Arsenal are now on level points with Chelsea. I believe United are now 2 points behind. So top four is lit. Top four is lit. Top four is lit. But all I ask of people is don't be so reactionary. Don't be narrow-minded when you're analyzing football. Just don't go quickly to be like, oh, no. Think first. Take in the information, think first. Be critical before you really make a deduction. A flipping Baptist. Thanks for watching the video. Now think about becoming a Football Hot patron by pledging an amount each month and then gain access to exclusive content only on the Football Hot patron page. Peace. Head over to the official site at halffootballhot.com or just click over here.